Okay, so welcome to having your colour analysis today. I'm really excited to do this with you. I never get bored of doing colour analysis with people, and the reason is because I personally think that it's magic. It's quite magical. And hopefully when you see for yourself the difference the right and the wrong colours can make to how you look and feel, you'll be brought into it as well. So yeah, I'm very excited to see your reaction and to see you see the difference, because it really is there. The first thing I'd like to do is just talk you through how it works. So basically today we're going to work out which colour season you are. So you will be a season. That's how I work with colours, how I've been trained, and the seasons are spring, summer, autumn and winter. So they're named after the seasons of the year, but that doesn't mean to say that you are only in autumn, if that makes sense. You are autumn all year round if that's your colour. So whatever season you are, that's you. Even if you tan in the summer and get paler in the winter like a lot of people normally do, you're still that tone, your skin tone is still the same, and so therefore your season will be the same. And equally, it's done on your skin tone so that when you've had your colours done, that should be you for the rest of your life, essentially, because your skin tone doesn't change, whereas hair colour might, but that doesn't really, we don't really take that into account, although when I look at some of the colours on you, I will look overall at your eye colour and your hair colour and just see whether or not something goes or whether it doesn't, and it'll be quite obvious whether something clashes or not with you. So a couple of quick questions to start with. They just give me a little bit of an idea as to whether or not you're cool or warm skin toned. It doesn't tell me the absolute, because what will is the process. But if I was to ask you, if you were to let yourself sit in the sun and tan, would you get a tan quite easily, or do you sometimes take a while to tan? And
I take a while to tan.
You take a while to tan.
I go red.
Yeah, you go red first. Yeah, okay, that's what I kind of thought. And also, when you exercise, do you go quite red in the face? So you have a bit of colour in your face. Yeah, okay. So that gives me a little bit of an indication on skin tone. Although you are, I feel like you've definitely got some warmth in you, because you have, I'm assuming, I mean, your hair's a beautiful colour, but I'm assuming you were not far off what colour you've got your hair at the moment.
Yeah, so I was born blonde.
Yeah.
And then went sort of mousy red, like to look close you would see red strands.
Yeah.
And then mousy brown all mixed up.
Okay.
Like a really warm.
Yeah.
And then when I was 17, 18, I started dyeing it red, ginger red.
Yeah.
And I've had it that colour more or less ever since.
Yeah. Because I could sense that there would be some sort of auburny warmth in your hair. I actually love this colour on you. I think it's amazing. And it really does suit you. So that's also, you know, when people say to me quite a lot, can you tell straight away when somebody walks in the door? And sometimes I can and sometimes I can't, but I think just the general warmth in you and your skin and your colourings just lends me to think that you might be more of a warmer skin toned person, and therefore the warmer colours would suit you more. But as I say, the actual process will tell us that. So if I just talk you through the different seasons of the year in terms of colour, then you can understand the differences between them, and I think that's quite key. So on the table we've got the 4 different fans. Here we have spring, this is autumn, this is summer, and this is winter. And if you draw a line down the middle here, you'll know that spring and autumn are warmer colours for warmer skin tones, and winter and summer are cooler colours for cooler skin tones. So you can sort of tell the difference between the two, because the cooler colours have a kind of bluey undertone to them, and just have that coolness, whereas the warmer colours just have a much more kind of warmer, sometimes an orangey undertone to them. So as an example, if you look at the differences between the warm red, which is a corally red here, and a cool red, which is more of a kind of a wine or a cherry colour, you can see in comparison they are quite different.
Yeah.
But people sometimes say to me, oh, I can't wear red, but actually there's a red for everyone.
Yeah.
Same with yellow, same with green, same with blue. It's just about getting the right tone for your skin tone. So sometimes that can be quite a revelation to people when they've not worn something for the whole of their life because they just didn't think they could, when actually they can. So, you know, once you understand what colour season you are and you start to get to know that colour season, it will become very easy for you to walk into a shop or look online and understand what colours are the right for you, because you'll just know the tone of them and you'll know the differences. The other thing to bear in mind as well with the cooler colours is that this one, the cooler colours here, is where the proper pinks sit, because pink is a cool colour really. It's kind of a mix between a red and a blue, so it has that coolness in it. Whereas the only pinks you'll see over in the warm colours are more of a kind of a salmony pink kind of a tone. So there's a couple of things to note with the differences in the colours. Working through each season, the winter season here you'll see is quite a bold, deep, bright colours. They are, for me, more like the jewel-like colours. So if you think of emerald, amethyst, ruby, sapphire, those are the sorts of colours that you'll find in the winter season. There's also black that sits right at the back here, and it's the only season that has black in it. But that doesn't mean to say you can't wear black if you aren't winter. It just means you have to be a bit more careful about how you wear black. And actually, it's probably appropriate for me to say at this point that, you know, I say to everybody that this isn't meant to be a rule, it's a tool. So if you go away thinking, actually, this is going to be really helpful for the majority of what it is that I do with my wardrobe, that's the best way you can look at it, rather than I can't ever wear any other colour other than what's in my colour season. Because actually, what it's about is how you feel in something. So if, for example, you walked into a shop, you tried on something that was out of your colour season, but it made you feel amazing. If I was sitting on your shoulder in that dressing room, I would just look at the smile on your face and I'd say, Emma, buy it, because look at what it's doing to you. Look at how you feel in it. And actually, everything that I do as a stylist is about making somebody feel really good about themselves. So sometimes fashion breaks the rules, the tools, whatever you want to call them, and you just have to go with what feels right. But to help people in the majority of situations pull together a much more coherent wardrobe of clothes and shop with much more strategy and success, understanding in the first instance what colours suit your skin tone best is a really, really good place to start. I think people shop blind if they don't know what colours work for them.
I imagine it's really good for mixing and matching as well.
100%.
Don't buy too much stuff.
Yeah, so I think people struggle when they don't know what colours suit them, because their wardrobe will be a reflection of all different types of seasons. And then when you come to put colours together, you're like, well, does that colour go with that colour? I'm just not sure. Whereas if you know your colour season and you buy primarily within your colour season, everything goes with everything in that season, because tonally it all works together. So all of a sudden you have a wardrobe that works, and you can feel confident about mixing colours, even bolder colours together, because you know that if they're all in the autumn season or all in the spring season or whatever season you are, it works together really, really beautifully. And also I think understanding your colours gives you the confidence to buy into more colour, brighter colours that you'd never thought of before, because they're then, you see them on your season, you're like, oh gosh, I never thought of that. So I think, you know, sometimes people come along and they often have an inkling of what colours suit them, but actually to be told and to have that confidence just makes all the difference. And as I said at the start, seeing it for yourself is what is the key, I think. So winter is bold and bright and deep. Summer is also cool, but a much more kind of paler version of this, less saturated colours here. I call them the ice cream colours because they remind me of, if you're in Italy and you see a big stand with ice cream, it's kind of all those sort of lemon sorbet colours within the summer season. So they're quite pale, quite pastel.
Okay.
Moving over to the warm colours, you've got autumn. I think autumn is actually quite easy to identify because I think it very much resembles the season of autumn. So you have all these colours in nature at this time of year. So you've got the khakis, the camels, the russet reds, the kind of the green tones there, and they just all, you know, blend in to the season of autumn. And then spring is also very warm, but it, again, brighter, bolder colours for spring. For me, this is the primary colours. If you were to draw a rainbow, you'd use the spring colours to draw that rainbow. If you were to buy a packet of felt tip pens, they'd be in the kind of spring colours. So that's the differences between the seasons. Do you have one that you're drawn to by any chance, or are you sort of open to all of it?
Well, I can see, I feel like I'm more of a wintry, warm kind of a person.
Yeah.
Or I feel like I am, but I can see lots of colours in here that I would buy.
Yeah, that you like.
So the purple there, the teal, the deep greens, I really like those, but I can also see colours here that
yeah, because they sort of have them in the autumn, don't they?
Yeah, they're still here.
Yeah, there's some of the colours that are in winter are also in autumn. Some, and actually in quite a few of the in the seasons, you do see some transference across. And actually, the purples and the teals are the colours in winter that you also see in the autumn as well.
Yeah, I like bold colours.
Bold colours, yeah. Yeah, cool.
Ooh, let's see.
Okay, so the next step is really to use the colour drapes to actually see the difference. And basically I've got 3 sets of 4 drapes, 1 set in the reds, 1 set in the greens, 1 set in the blues, and there's 1 drape from each season, and we compare and contrast directly between. So that's how we're going to work it out.
Lovely, okay.
Great. Okay, so now we're going to do the actual colour analysis, which is the most exciting part of the process. I am going to get you to hold this mirror up so you can see yourself. It does have a little light on it, which is quite helpful. So that just brings a little bit more light onto the situation, and it's all about looking at the differences between the different colours underneath you. So what I want you to do is not focus on whether or not you like the colour or not, but really try and think about what it's doing to your skin tone. So the right colours will bring a real glow, they will even out your skin tone, they'll make you look alive, they will bring colour to your face, the colour of your lips. I got you to take your lipstick off, because actually sometimes your lips go blue with the wrong colours, and they go pinker with the right, so it's actually quite a good indication for me to kind of look at the lips, whether your eye colours pop out. You know, all these things will be the things that I'm looking for, and I will talk you through what I'm seeing, and hopefully you'll be able to see some of the differences as well. The wrong colours do the opposite of that, basically. They kind of make you look a bit ill, sometimes a bit seasick, sometimes just tired. They might show up imperfections, lines, they make you look a bit older, don't make you feel great. So there's lots of things that go on with the right and the wrong colours, but I will talk you through it. I'm going to place the drapes on, and you might not notice a difference when I put the first few on until I come back and forth, but that's normal, that's okay. Sometimes I need to do that for me as well. But I will start to get an inkling, I think, as I start to see the differences. So we're going to do it in the same order each time, and that order is summer, winter, spring, autumn. So the 2 cools and then the 2 warms. Okay, so this is the first one we're putting on, which is the summer drape. Okay, so that's going on there like that. So this is the pastel-y toned colours.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, quite difficult when you've just got the first one on, but I think when we come back to this, you'll see some of the differences. So I I think we're not going to particularly like this when we come back to it, because I don't think it does a huge amount for you. In fact, I think it shows up sort of under your eyes a little bit, which didn't before when you had your kind of open top on.
So shall I, would you like me to like comment what I think?
Yeah, yeah, you can tell me what you think as well. So hopefully you'll be able to say, oh yeah, I see that, or I don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't matter either way. If you trust my eye, then then you can kind of, well, hopefully most people, like 99% of people, can see the differences. So this is now winter, so we're going to put this one on, so it's a darker. So can you see that's made a bit of a difference?
Yeah, it feels better.
Yeah, it's kind of, what it's done is it's just evened out your skin tone a little bit, I think. It's not made it quite so blotchy. So that's quite nice. I also think the colour itself just is a little bit, lends itself a little bit better to you.
So the red before was more, it's more pinky.
Yeah, it's that kind of, so you, again, if we take that off, you'll see what I mean.
Yeah.
I think that your lips look paler.
Yeah.
I think the texture of your skin shows up more. I think that for me, under the eyes, is just darker, whereas this just evens the tone out.
It's interesting to me as well because this is more of the direct, true red.
Yes.
And I prefer more direct and true people.
Interesting. Yeah.
So I don't really like mixed colours too much.
You like something that's a bit primary. Yeah.
And straightforward.
Yeah. There's many theories on sort of colour, and it is a direct relation to your personality. And actually, it's really interesting that you've mentioned that, because it really is about who you are as a person. Some of the aspects of colour. And of course, you know, when I'm doing colour analysis and I've only met you 10 minutes ago, it's difficult for me to really understand who you are as a person. But that's really interesting to note that. So we're going to go into the warmer colours now. So this is the spring red. I think that's even nicer.
It's more orangey.
Yeah, so what it's done for me on your skin tone is it has given you a little bit of colour. It's given you a little bit more of a kind of, it's almost like you've had a day in the spring sunshine, if that makes sense. So it's just evened again the skin tone out a bit more. So it's given you, for me, it's given you a little bit more life. So if you compare that again back to the first one, can you see under the eyes again?
Yeah, that doesn't work.
No. But it's interesting, isn't it? Until you've actually seen the comparison, you can't always see it when you've put the first one on. But yeah, that just doesn't work at all, does it? Whereas this one, straight away, your skin tone is just much more even.
Yeah, I like it that it's more orangey.
Yeah, you like that look on your skin. Yeah, I think that's nice. And actually, one of the key things that I look for, if you're a cool toned person, and I put a warm colour underneath you, that orangey effect looks weird. Whereas if you are a warm skinned person and I put a warm colour under you, that warmth looks glowy. And it looks natural and it looks nice. So that's one of the big sort of things that I look out for. And then for the autumn we have an orange. Do you ever wear orange? No. So actually, if you take away the fact that obviously you've got, you know, tones of that in your hair, but if you sort of sweep that out of the way and look at your skin tone, and how blue your eyes look with this, sort of bluey, your eyes are bluey grey, aren't they? But to me they look more blue with this orange.
So I would pick this colour on something else if it was within a pattern.
Yeah.
Or if it was more of a burnt.
More of a burnt orange, yeah, sort of like a russet. Yeah, but
or
that
I'd wear
bright
something green
orange
over the
feels,
top of it,
yeah,
or
okay.
something with a scarf. Or
Yeah, which is totally
to balance
fine.
it.
Yeah, because it can feel too much. Like, you know, and actually on a colour journey, you take it bit by bit usually and build up your confidence with something. But I actually think that's a very nice look on you.
Yeah, if I saw a dress like this and it was a really nice style dress, I'd probably go for it.
Okay, that's good. That's interesting. Because I could see you in something like that with, say, a green velvet platform shoe or something that just pops with the colour, or and some gold big earrings or something that just brings it all together. Because it's, I suppose, when you're thinking about colour and outfits, just thinking about how you mix and match stuff and how you bring it in and make you feel more comfortable with it, and the sort of finished look, so to speak. That's kind of when my mind starts buzzing with it. But I could definitely see you in something like this. And I think wow factor colours are the thing to think about. So when we're putting the colours on, just understanding which colours really do make you look twice at somebody, because they're the ones that will be the ones that create, you know, that impact in your life, basically. Okay, there, the red's done. Let's do the greens.
Okay. I love a green.
Do you? Green's a very calming colour. I think that's probably why you like it, because it has that sort of feel of nature in it, which I like a green too. I wear quite a lot of green. But colours are very powerful because, you know, red is a very, it is a very statement colour. It does sort of mean power and, you know, I'm the boss type. It gives off that vibe. Green is a very calming, neutral colour, so you feel that when you're wearing it and you give that vibe off. Yellow, I love wearing yellow because it makes me feel happy, and it's a very happy, vibrant colour. Blue, again, can be quite calming. It's so interesting how you can use colour to impact your mood. I think one of the things I say to clients quite often is, you know, if you are getting up one day and you feel really grumpy, and some days we have that where we just wake up and we're like in a bad mood, just be really observant about what you would naturally pull out of your wardrobe to wear, and try and challenge yourself to wear something more happy in colours and see how it impacts your mood. And I think you'll find it does help. So yeah, lots of yellow in the winter, basically. Right, we're going to do the greens. They're all very different greens, which is really good. First one, summer, is this kind of minty green, which I call the dentist McCrone. But actually, my stylist friend said to me, Fleur, you can't call it that, you have to call it the Tiffany green. So perhaps more positive connotations to it. But the thing with the summer colours is there's not a lot of people that the summers work for, and you can see why, because the minute you put it on, I mean, on you, this doesn't, I just don't think it works at all, does it?
I feel like an ice cream.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just doesn't, it has that icky look to it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For you, it doesn't really give off the right reflection up onto your face. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
If you think about how those reds just brought all that beautiful colour out in you, that just doesn't do anything, does it?
I think some nurses wear this colour, don't they?
Yeah, I feel a bit bad for them really, because I don't think it suits a lot of people. So
No, I choose this one as the nurse outfit.
the next outfit, or the nurse?
The nurse.
Oh, the nurse, yeah. So this is the winter, which is this emerald green. I think straight away that's much better on you, other than I think it's showing off, it's basically quite showing up some shadows. So the thing I can notice on you more with this is this lines here. I just see it's just catching the shadow on them, whereas so sometimes a dark colour can do that. It can reflect up and show off, and particularly as we get older, we don't want that to be something that is highlighted.
Yeah.
So I think that it's better on your skin tone than the first, but I think it's just showing off, for me, it's just a sort of darker shadow on the lower half of your face, which, and actually you've got quite a beautiful angular sort of jawline, haven't you? Which, yeah, it's lovely. And actually you've got really lovely skin. I look at a lot of skin doing this job. So you want the colours to really to really highlight your best bits. And I feel like this dark one, because this is winter, so there would be black in this, and I think if you put a black on, it would do the same thing. It would just draw the colour out of your face a bit.
Yeah, my favourite greens are more vintage greens.
Yeah.
With a bit more warmth and a bit more grey in them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sort of like a mossy green or...
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the spring green. It's a very different green to this. It's quite bright, quite yellowy. I call it the Kermit green, but it's good because it is very different, and you should see a big difference between that one and this one and the last one.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it gives you so much more warmth on here with this one.
Again, if there was something that had this green in it, then I would be okay with it. But if it was all that green, I'd feel like a crayon.
A crayon, yeah. Ice cream or a crayon. I'm loving your analogies. Yeah, but I think what you're saying is that the spring colours are just a bit too much for you, maybe, that you're not that comfortable in them.
Perhaps a bit youthful, a bit primary colours.
Yeah, they are. They're very like child. A lot of children use primary colours. Yeah, I can sort of see that. I mean, they are. I feel like you have to be a bit careful with the bright primary colours because sometimes they wear you rather than you wearing it.
Yeah.
And I sort of feel like that's maybe where we're at with you on these.
I've always been drawn to more earthy, more vintage, more, I suppose, more mature colours.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we're now going to do the khaki, which is the autumn colour. So this is a very yellowy khaki, but obviously there's many tones of khaki that can still be warm, but this is quite a good indicator of... Yeah, do you like that?
I do like it.
Yeah,
a bit more
you. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? It actually goes beautifully with, again, just looking at your colours overall. And, you know, again, with a colour like this, if somebody suits it or not, it's quite clear one way or the other because it can look amazing and it can look awful. So, yeah, I quite like that one on you.
Okay. This is interesting.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do the blues. And again, we're going to go in the same order.
So this looks to me more purpley. That's like a navy.
Yeah, that's sort of a navy, but again, there's many tones of navy. It can be the kind of indigo-y or almost black, like, or kind of more purpley. But that, I would say that's sort of indigo, yeah. Okay, so we're going to do... No, straight away, you can see it, can't you? Just doesn't do anything for you, does it? It just makes you look washed out, no colour in your lips, and just really quite pale. Straight away. See, I think once you get your eye in, it's quite easy to sort of see. Okay, so this is the navy. So the winter. Navy is an interesting one because it tends to work with quite a lot of skin tones. It's a softer than a black approach. It's quite smart, quite kind of, you can put lots of colours with it. But again, I just think those darker colours on you, right up to here, I just don't think they're super flattering on you because I just think they cast too many shadows up on your face. It doesn't soften you. It makes you harder, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And I just don't think that is your look or your vibe, because you are a very soft, calming persona, and I just think that just doesn't fit you as a person. It just kind of makes me feel like it's hard Emma, and that's just not you.
That's so interesting because I've got loads of items in this colour. Jumpers, shirts, and perhaps that's because I'm trying to be a little harder.
Possibly, yeah.
Because if you are a gentle and soft person, life doesn't always treat you very well.
No, No, it doesn't. I mean, it's a very good corporate colour, i.e. a lot of people have suits and things in a navy as opposed to a black, because it just has that kind of smartness to it. Also, with a kind of dark colour like this, people can hide away a little bit under them, and I think that's typically what people do with the blacks and the navies. It hides a multitude of sins. So I think it can be used for that as well. I'm not suggesting that's what you do, but I think sometimes it's just easy to throw something dark on, and then you don't have to worry too much, whereas you're a bit more exposed in brighter colours. So maybe there's something along that with that. I'm just thinking about when you wear that colour and why, and just maybe, you know, the amazing thing about understanding your colours is feeling like you can be more confident with different colours, the ones that really do actually suit you, because you know that that's right.
The word that popped into my mind was safe.
It's very safe, yeah. It is safe because it does create a little bit of a barrier, really. It sort of hides you a bit. And, you know, when you're vulnerable and you show yourself, that's when you can feel a little bit, you know, like you're showing a side to you that's you maybe don't want to, or don't feel like you can always. Yeah, so people can use colours in that way. I would say that it's a good one for like a blazer or something. If you do need to look smart, if you're going to a certain meeting or something, you can always wear your right colours underneath and just have that on the top, and it just gives that layer of slight more smartness to it. So don't rule out the navy, but just be aware that if you wear it right up to your neck, it's just got that slight harshness to it, I think. So this is the spring blue, so it's warmer and a bit more pigmented than the first blue. Bit too much, again, isn't it? I think it's a slight clash on you. I think it's nicer on your skin than the navy underneath. It's slightly softer on your skin tone, but overall when I look at you it just feels too much, and I think that's been the theme all along with the springs, hasn't it? And then obviously there's this one which I just think actually is going to look amazing on you. This is the teal. That's beautiful. That's my favourite colour on you of all the colours that we've done.
I love these colours.
Yeah, I can just see you in that. That's just absolutely stunning on you.
Because it's bright, but it's also earthy as well, and it's that's when I say vintage, that's kind of what I mean. It's a bit deeper.
I can sort of see you in a velvet blazer of this colour with a little silk cami or something on underneath. Something like that would be really lovely. It lends itself really. Actually, the reason I've got teal velvet in my head is because I've just bought a bed and it arrived. I've been waiting months for it, and it arrived last week, and it's teal velvet.
Oh, no.
It's actually really lovely, yeah.
And relaxing colour to sleep in.
Yeah, and I've accessorised it with pink cushions. That's my thing, the teal and the pink, which is really nice. So this is my favourite on you. And if you just go back to the first one, you'll see a big difference, I think. Look at that. That's massive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just ridiculously not right. That one.
That's nice.
So much better.
It's comfy.
Yeah.
It's comfy and warm.
You can just tell by the way that you're acting and your body language that you feel so much more comfortable in this one as well. Yeah. So I'm just going to do the last two, which is the metallics, because it just confirms it. This isn't to say that you should be wearing a gold or a silver lame catsuit or something, and it doesn't necessarily indicate what jewellery you should wear either, other than if you are wanting to accessorise with some big statement jewellery. If you're a warm skin toned, the gold is going to look better. It just tones better with those tones rather than the silver, whereas silver is more of a cooler colour one. So if you are, it sort of helps if you're doing a statement metal with any of your looks, but really it's just for me to just doubly make sure that what I'm thinking is right. So I am thinking that the gold's going to be better on you than the silver. And because these are super reflective, they have that kind of, they reflect up onto the face. So yeah, can you see how that just is quite a bright, pale look on you? I think it just, like some of the other summer colours, it just washes you out a little bit. It doesn't really give you much colour in your skin. Whereas the gold immediately, your skin tone just is brought back to life like that. Like you've got colour in your cheek. Overall, your skin tone is more of a kind of warmth to it. Your lips look better. Your eye colour looks amazing. I mean, just look, the gold looks great.
That's interesting. I've got a silver jacket.
But you can see, look at that. Look at the colour. Your colour just goes from your lips.
Yeah, and I find I have to wear extra makeup.
That's one of the things that you can do if you have something that it doesn't actually really suit your skin tone and makes you feel a bit washed out. It's obviously just extra makeup. Yeah. So if you love the jacket, I would just do that with it. But you can see the gold is just beautiful on you.
This is so interesting.
You can see it though, can't you? It's really clear. Yeah. So I think your autumn, because I think the springs are too much. They're too bright on you. I think the autumn ones for me were the colours that really worked much better on you. I can sort of see you in all of these. I just don't think you're anywhere near the cooler colours. I just think the winters were just a bit too. They were just too dark on you. They just cast this shadow up. Just didn't really. And then the summers, none of them worked. It was quite obvious that they didn't work.
Yeah, and the autumn here has the teal.
It has the teal, has the purple. You've got some really nice, loads of green options in there, with the, ranging from sort of khaki and mossy green to sort of actually some quite brighter greens. Then you've got the teals, loads of different teals. I mean, there's like 4 sets of teal there. Some beautiful purples, in fact, quite a few purples in there. And then obviously you've got camels and browns, and then it sort of merges into the russets and the reds, and there's some plum in there, and mustardy colours, and then these kind of reds are, really, really beautiful. And I think for you, I would stick to the outer edge, just so that you have more of a saturated colour. I think if you, as you can see, they kind of, they lessen in saturation as you go into the fan. But I think I wouldn't want you to go down here with the colours. I don't think they're bright enough for you. I think you are much better suited to these ones around the edge. So you've actually got as much sort of brightness in the colour as you can with the autumn season, because I think you can take a bright colour. And I think the thing to do for you is just to get yourself one of these fans and study it and use it and have it with you and take it shopping with you. And then just all of a sudden you'll just walk into shop and you'll be like, I know what I'm doing. I'm not even going to go anywhere near that section, because certain shops will merchandise their goods in colour schemes. So it's quite helpful when shops do that and you understand your colours, because you'll be like, well, there's that all over there, they look like wintry colours. I know that doesn't work for me, so I'm going to head over in this section because I think they're much more warmer toned colours. And it just helps you to not feel overwhelmed when you walk into a shop, because you know what it is you're looking for.
I often do in the summer, because I find that in the summer, in most of the shops, it's all these colours and they're all flowery dresses.
Yeah.
And I walk in there and I think there's nothing in here.
Yeah, it was interesting, because I think you'll find that when you know your colours, you'll actually see your colours you'll be much more noticeable of what's actually around, because obviously I shop all year round for all different seasons of people, and I can find all the seasons all year round. And also I think it depends on where you go as well. Certain colours are more colourful than others, and that's just their brand stamp. So yeah, I think you'll find that when you're much more observant about what's in the shops and what you're looking for, suddenly you see things that you just didn't see before. And I think it's helpful. At the back of the fan, you'll see that they've got these kind of staple capsule colours. So these are the ones that would be good if you were to buy sort of blazers or anything that's kind of a capsule colour. These colours are good for sort of mixing all of these with.
Okay.
So, you know, more of a kind of a charcoaly colour rather than a black, for example.
Yeah.
These kind of nice blues, and these neutrals, they have that warmth to them, that kind of pebbly colour.
I'm particularly interested in the yellow shades because I never go for yellow. I've never have done, and I've never really found a yellow that works for me. But these mustard colours, if they're a bit warmer,
yeah,
I can see.
I think you
that they would be nice.
Would look amazing in a mustard colour. There's loads of it out there. In fact, you know, I think it is true to say that you'll find more autumn colours in the autumn season. There just tends to be when the new sort of autumn collections come in, they tend to be sort of themed on autumn colours. But so if you were to go out and have a look in the shops this week or next week, you'd probably see quite a lot of autumn colours. But they can be found all year round. It's just a case of knowing where to go. My other advice to you would be just to make a little list of the things that you actually need and go with a priority list. So you actually go, basically it's shopping with strategy. Less is more, that's my philosophy. I feel like going higher end of the high street will pay dividends for you in terms of having things that last longer and you wear more and get more price per wear. So if you're investing in some key capsule pieces, don't shy away from doing it little bit by little bit, but spending more on that individual item because it will last you longer and it's better for the environment. That's how I shop, that's my philosophy. But I think this is it's a really, really good place to start. And in fact, for me as a stylist, I can't do anything with anybody unless I know what their colours is. It's that important. And it is the first thing I do with everybody. So, you know, it's a really good and very accessible way of starting to understand your style.
Yeah, and just thinking about yourself and taking care of yourself is really nice as well.
Yeah, that's how I see it. You know, what you wear makes a difference to how you feel. And if you feel good in what you wear and you walk out the door feeling good, it really does make a difference to what happens to you that day, because your aura is different. You just have a different feel about you, and people will warm to you more, I think, if you are comfortable, and it shows when you're comfortable in something. And I think people don't really understand that as much as they should, that neglecting your style, neglecting how you feel when you wear clothes is, it's a massive factor. And it makes, what I love most about my job is that I can have an impact on people's lives in that way. And that clothes are, yes, they are the layer that you put over your body, but it goes way deeper than that. And it does impact people's lives really positively.
I think that so many people are working from home as well lately.
Yeah.
And the temptation is, and I've been doing the same thing, it's just throwing on a pair of jogging pants and a t-shirt and a cardigan.
Yeah.
And just carrying on with work. But then I feel like I'm in my pyjamas all day.
Yeah, you've got to make the effort. It makes a difference. If you've not done your hair and makeup for days and suddenly you do it, you're like, oh, there she is. I'm back again. It honestly makes a huge difference. So yeah, I love what I do for that reason, and I feel really privileged to be part of people's journeys and to help them understand and feel better about themselves. And that's really the most rewarding thing about my job. Other than the fact that I can talk about clothes all day, every day, because I'm very passionate about it, and go shopping. I mean, people often say to me, God, your job's amazing. I mean, you have to have staying power to be in the shops all the time, but I love it. And I love making a difference through this, which is what I'm passionate about. So
amazing. Thanks so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Exciting times.
Yeah, it is.